Thursday. How we doing, everybody? It's your man of the host this hour, Sammy the Man McIntyre, Moving the Chains podcast. We are rocking. We are rolling. Jalen Carter just got mega paid. Holy bananas. I did not see that coming. I want to dive into that. And then today we're going to keep going over these division predictions as I've done. I've done the AFC East last week, kind of diving through those. And now I'm going to get into the NFC South today, where my man Baker, Moneymaker Mayfield is in that division. So I'm going to dive into that. But I'm going to start from the top. Jalen Carter got paid for the Eagles. And I knew he was going to get paid. Like, I kind of knew, but I didn't know when. Because he's still on that rookie deal, you know, with the fifth-year option. You can pick it up, you cannot, you can play it out. So he signed. I got the word from Schefter. I believe it was Tuesday, maybe Monday night, Tuesday afternoon. He got the contract. 4 years, 132, 106 guaranteed. And a lot of people are saying to me, well, Sammy, hey, man, that's a lot of money. But when I listen to John Middlecoff, my boy, Johnny the Man Middlecoff, who was, with the Eagles as a scout for a couple years, knows Howie Roseman pretty well, he says it's kind of a team-friendly deal. And my first reaction when I saw that contract was, okay, Philly's defense is going to be damn good. They were damn good last year. Their offense just couldn't put up points. So when I saw that, now Jalen Carter's a wild card. Because has he played up to that level, that 4-year, $136 million? He has not. I saw him disappear against Dallas. I saw him disappear sometimes against the Rams. I thought Jordan Davis was better than him. His own teammate from Georgia, who was part of that 20, I think it was one team. Or maybe 22. I cannot get lost in shuffle there, but one of those two teams. That was all-time great. And, you know, it's like the Philadelphia Bulldogs. I mean, they were drafting everybody from Georgia. I don't blame you. You know, elite program. Kirby Smart's a badass. Tough guy. Came from the Saban cloth. You would. But it was so funny. I never forget this. When the Raiders, he was a top 10 pick, top 5 hands down. He was the best player on his team, and not even a debate. But he was a wild card. They had a lot of question marks. And, you know, if you guys recall, he had the incident with the Combine where he went to jail. They got bailed out. A lot of weird shit with Jalen Carter. But I can't dispute, when he's on and his mind's right, he's about as dominant as I've seen a defensive lineman in a long time. Chris Jones, early Chris Jones. Like that dominant. And I think it's, when I look at this story with the Eagles, I go, it all falls back to that quarterback. And I'm talking to you, Jalen. You better ball out this year, big boy. Because there is no excuse. You can have a year like you had last year, leading the league in 3 and outs when you have Saquon Barkley, you had A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, that decent offensive line. Come on. I know Kevin Petula was a bum, and they TP'd his house, which, by the way, back in the day, you could have gotten away with that. Maybe ding dong ditch, whatever. I miss those good old days. But that's besides the point. But right now, Jalen Hurts is on you. You got to play better. If he stinks it up the joint again, he's gone. He got to go. Bye. I don't care about his contract. We just saw the Broncos. They signed an abomination of contract with Russell Wilson. What happened? 2 years later, AFC Championship game, kicking ass. They're still eating the dead money. So you got to do it. If I'm Philly, next year, Sirianni and Hurts, gone. Hot take of the day. You cannot tell me, with this roster that Howie Roseman has assembled, you stink the joint up like that and you lost at home to the Niners? With a practice squad, dude? With me, all my cousins, extended family? Come on, man. You want to tell me that was your final product? That's still the taste I got in my mouth? No. No excuse for that. So, I just feel like this is the time for the Eagles offense to pick up the slack, because the defense has been doing their job, right? They gave us some big chunk plays, you know, the Buccaneer game and, you know, stuff like that. But it's time now. This Eagle offense got to be better. No excuses. If there is, I'm going to come down to Philly myself, and I'm going to whip Jalen Hurts' ass, and we're going to go. Because it's time. No more bullshit. You've got to play, Jalen. Stop with this nonsense. Stop with the boo-boo-boo, which this society is known for, being a bunch of victim pussies. You got to wake up and go. So, I'm fired up, man. So I got to get off my chest. The whole Jalen Hurts thing, because it's just wearing me out. Okay, so my NFC South takes now. I believe last year, if memory serves me, I believe I picked Tampa. And now, listen, I came a little bit down on that, but I think Baker was banged up, their team was starting 6-2, and then they just fell apart. And I got to start with the team I think that's going to win it. And I'm going to be down in New Orleans, end of September, with my dad, eating some good old Bourne Bayou food, baby. Woo! Can't wait. Might gain a little bit of pounds. But I'm 29. I got a lot of life left. But be that as it may, I think the Saints should be pretty good. And if I'm doing it right now, I got Saints 1. And I say the Saints won because they just signed Chris Olave today, which that was going to be the big bombshell I was going to drop on here. But you got him locked up. Jordan Tyson, if he just flourishes and he kind of, he's got a lot of, I said it before, after the combine, a lot of risk, right? But the upside's real, right? With Jordan Tyson, you saw it. I saw some clips when he was at ASU. I'm like, whoa, that's different. I don't see many humans doing that, okay? So he's got, you put him with Olave. Tyler Shuck played really well down the stretch. If he continues that into this year, you got something with the Saints. You have an offensive-led coach. I like that Jermaine, what's his name? Johnson at tight end, 83, big block, bulky tight end, pretty good, really good player. You have a really good offensive line with Ruiz and a couple other guys. So you've really built it up through the trenches in that sense in New Orleans. But now it's going to come down to defense, though. I still don't love that they have Brandon Staley. I mean, Jesus. Talk about a guy that, maybe getting away with some shit. But whatever, be that as it may. But I got the Saints 1. The second team, and I was kind of flip-flopping back between this, is I like this team a lot. And I like that the GM has done I think a really under-the-radar job. Dan Morgan learned from Seattle. John Schneider brought it down to Carolina. I think his past 2 drafts have been killer. But I believe this to be true. I like Bryce Young a lot. I like Bryce, but I'm not in love with him. And I agree that Carolina, going into this summer, I think I must have said this a couple weeks ago, is that they're going to kind of ride it out with him. And I would too. If I'm the Texans, if I'm the Panthers, I see how Bryce Young plays this entire season. Because there were moments last year where I'm like, Bryce Young's playing really, really well. But then there's games when it was like Jacksonville, the beginning opener game down in Jacksonville. Or it was like against Seattle where he threw for like 92 yards. Because I kind of look at him like I do Jalen Hurts. Not to say that he's the type of player like he has all this accomplished like a Jalen Hurts. Again, better situation, better organization. Carolina's finally starting to get their foot on the, running in the right direction. And Philadelphia's been doing it for a little while. But I do sense like you have good players. You have really good receivers around you. Coker, Ted McMillan was a stud last year. Really proved me wrong. He's a badass. He could have like a Steve Smith career, putting up numbers. Tommy Tremble, Mitchell Evans. You have tight ends. Your line's pretty good. Now, your players are dropping like flies. I think Taylor Moton, the left tackle from Western Michigan, right tackle if I'm not mistaken. Or Fanu is I'm forgetting his name, the NC State kid. He's your left. And then your right is the other kid. So I do believe that they're pretty set at the offensive line spot. They're good at receiver. They got to get running back. They lost Rico Dowdle, who was a pretty good player. You can replace that. But now you have to get the offense right. And the defense made strides. They signed Devin Lloyd. we can argue all day about Jalen Phillips and did they overextend and blah, blah, blah. All I know is that guy can play. When I've seen him play with the Dolphins or the Eagles, he splashes. He's a pop player. So Carolina got their pass rush. Their pass rush last year, it was not like Greg Hardy and Julius Peppers walked through that door, because they were not. So they had some hard times getting to the quarterback. But I will say this. This team could be playoffs. I think if there's two teams coming out of that South, it's Panthers and it's Saints. Now, game-to-game situation, I'm a lean Tyler Shuck, just because more consistency last year from what I saw. But Bryce Young did lead his team to the playoffs. In a playoff game and was going toe-to-toe with Matt Stafford. They beat him once in the regular season, could have beaten him twice in the post. They were that close. So they're getting there. But I have a feeling with the Panthers, I think they're going to want their own guy, because they did not inherit Bryce Young. They did not. That was a David Tepper, Frank Wright disaster thing. So now, I think you could probably, I don't know how good Carolina's going to be. I said they're going to finish second in the division. But be that as it may, it's going to be fascinating to see where they pick next year's draft coming around. Because they can go get one of those guys if they want to. They can go get a Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning. It can be in that class. So be on the lookout for Carolina. But I think Carolina's going to have a very good year. I really do. And I like what they're doing down there with Dan Morgan and Dave Canales. Really getting their foot right on the track. And my third team is, I love Baker Mayfield. You guys know me. Doppelganger. I love you. But you're going through a transition period. And I think that there's a lot of uncertainty with Tampa. Vita Vea might be getting traded. The Raiders might be getting on him. Woo, woo! John Spicek make a move, baby. So might be some rumors going around with that. Baker Mayfield, we don't know about the contract. He's not going to camp without one. He might just play this out, which I think they should do. So there's a lot of uncertainty with Tampa. And they're kind of going like through a reboot. Not in the sense like, this kind of feels like Seattle, right? Where Seattle was kind of winning. They won a Super Bowl. And then they kind of hung on to guys a little bit too long than they wanted to. And I think they're going to kind of reboot. And I would think that they would go get an offensive coach. Todd Bowles has been nice. He's gotten you the playoffs. But I just feel like there's something missing. Because the last couple of years, they've been really hot. And then, I look up and they're really bad. I mean, last year, a prime example, I'm watching the Dolphin game. And Baker was playing awful. He was banged up. I watched a little bit of the quarterback show on Netflix, The Clips. He was banged up. He didn't play well. Now, granted, he's a tough guy. Gamer, competitive. That's what I love about Baker. Got some Favre in him. So I do think Tampa's still going to be pretty good. And maybe by the end of next year that the Panthers and Buccaneers might flip spaces. It might be Saints, Buccaneers, Panthers. But for right now, at the moment, I have Tampa Bay at third. And last but not least, I got the Falcons at fourth. Listen, I really like Kevin Stefanski. I love Michael Penix coming out of Washington. He just has not been what I thought. And, you got Tua in there now. If that's a team that Atlanta I look up and they're top 5 draft pick, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not saying they're just going to be so shitty. That's not where Atlanta is. Atlanta's got players. Their offensive line's pretty good. They ran the ball really well last year. They ran the ball well in the Rams. They can beat teams. They're kind of frisky. But when you're uncertain at quarterback and you're kind of, musical chairing it, it's kind of going to be hard to have consistency. But I do think Atlanta's going to be pretty good coming down the couple of years. But I do like the Stefanski hire. I like that they have a lot of weapons. Drake London, you've got your guys extended. Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, a little bit overrated. I was wrong on him. I had a lot of hopes for him coming out of Florida. That 2020 year, man, he just, played Georgia, and I'm like, damn. But I'm wrong, and when I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and when I'm right, I'm right. So I'm going to be fascinated by the Falcons. But that's all I got for you guys today. Got more content coming out. We're just getting started, folks. We're getting right around in the nitty-gritty time of football. Hope you guys are doing well. Thirsty Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well. Adios. Godspeed.